Hello there. Welcome to B1NN, the B1 News Network on Hot Lava Music TV. I'm Cedric Blackman with breaking news. But before I start, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cedric Blackman, and Von Savage Media. Then make sure you visit jlava.com. Now let's join the live stream already in progress.
So when the officer saw this SUV parked at 5:05 a.m. in the parking lot of the cell phone store, it piqued his interest, so he stopped to check to see what was going on. Less than a minute later, we know that the K-9 officer radioed for backup, code 3, meaning come right now, lights and siren. And then at 5:07, 2 minutes after he initially put himself out on the call, there was a report of shots fired. From what we know preliminarily, when the K-9 officer approached the SUV, he saw a knife in the possession of the occupant. The officer backed away from the vehicle, called for backup. Backup got here. The man was ordered out of the SUV, and he got out and charged the officers with knife in hand. We have 3 officers, the K-9 officer and 2 West Precinct officers, who fired on him as he was charging them. He was hit. They rendered aid to him. He was taken by ambulance to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he subsequently died. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is conducting the investigation of the officer-involved shooting, as they do in all fatal officer-involved shootings here in Nashville. Now, from what we know about the occupant of the SUV, he is a 31-year-old man who, according to his driver's license, is from a suburb of Birmingham, Alabama. We have a lot more to learn about why he was here, why he had the knife, why he would be charging at uniformed police officers with police cars right there in his viewpoint, why he would charge at them with a knife, all remains to be seen. We will have much more information for you later today. The officers did have body camera footage, and I would anticipate that we will be releasing that in the standard format that we do, that we have been doing over the past few months.
I just want to be clear, the man was outside the car when he charged the police, or he was inside coming out at them?
No, he was outside of the vehicle charging at them, feet on the pavement, charging at them when they fired.
At this point, you know how many times he was hit?
I do not. All 3 officers did fire. He went down and they rendered aid. We'll be sorting all of the details out during the day today, and again, some of the body camera footage has been downloaded, and we have a more updated narrative as to what happened based on some review of the body camera footage back at headquarters.
Don, you've been here a long time. You guys have had a lot of officers involved this particular year. I know they're all different. I know they're now all connected, but any comment from the police department perspective about the amount of these that we have seen already, which I think this is number 6 this year?
Well, I think when you have the benefit of the body camera footage, which almost all of these have, you can see that each scenario is different, and that our police officers are being put in very tenuous situations by persons armed with weapons, guns, knives. You need to look at each situation on its own individually. This K-9 officer this morning was doing what he thought was a business jet. Just, I'm going to be out on this SUV to check it out, to see what's going on. It's parked here at a cell phone store in the darkness at 5 o'clock. It's still dark at 5:05 a.m. Other situations have their own sets of circumstances, which you all know. And you can't lump them all together and say that they're all related. You just can't do that because they're not. Each one of them has a separate set of distinct, specific circumstances that you need to look at in regard to the officer's actions.
It just also goes back to, officers' jobs can change at any moment in time depending on what they're doing. Even if they're that routine inspection, or if it's involved in saying throwing knives on an officer's job can change. Any second, actions can change at any point in time.
Well, our police officers don't report to work thinking that this is going to happen to them on this specific shift. In the back of their minds, they're always prepared. They let their training kick in, and our officers, as you know, are highly trained. But no, you don't expect that this is going to happen to you on this specific shift. I mean, you're nearing the end of a shift. I mean, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not going to be too long before you get to go home yourself, right? Well, he's not going home this morning. He and his dog, he did have a canine partner with him this morning, which stayed in the car during the incident, I need to add. We'll have more details of this specific case later today with video. That's the TBI is doing the investigation. The TBI is now doing all of the scene work, and as long as it takes them to do that. I will have that later today. I haven't done all the background on the officers involved this morning. But obviously, if someone is in canine, they are veteran. He or she would be a veteran officer. And I want to make sure that the officers involved this morning have all told their families that this is happening and that they're okay.
Now, last but not least, there's people who say, well, they have to use guns. Why not a taser? Why not something less lethal if this gentleman only had a knife?
Well, there's a variety of answers to that. One is you have a person coming at you with a knife and he's charging at you. The officers need to stop the threat in defense of themselves. Yes, the police department does use less than lethal force when it's appropriate. In this situation, there was not a lot of distance between the parties, between the man with the knife charging at the officers. And the officers begin to, as we saw in a case earlier this year, an officer begins to retreat. Well, if an officer starts to retreat, what if he falls? If an officer decides to use a taser in the appropriate circumstances there, as you saw in the case with the lady with the pickaxe, what if the taser suddenly is not effective? Okay?
Look here, man. Now that you've been out the joint about 2 weeks, don't you think it's about time you gave me my money?
So you ain't had your money yet, man.
Fuck you mean you ain't got my money yet? Motherfucker, everybody know you hid the money from that robbery before you went upstate.
I told you, motherfucker, I ain't got your money yet, man.
Fuck you mean you ain't got the money yet?
Fuck you think you is, man. Motherfucking Ron O'Neal or something? What you gonna do? I'm supposed to be scared now because you got a pistol, motherfucker.
I got PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Chime. Hope you got yours, cause I got mine. I'm talking Payoneer, Netspend, Venmo, Stash. Too many ways for you to run my cash. Check reparation, 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 check. Well, if you talking compensation, it's about that time. You get everybody there, I'm trying to see about mine. Sick of
Tryna bring it back, tryna bring it back, tryna bring it back.
I bring it back like I took it from the premises. I bring it back like it's stolen from my nemesis. I bring it back on the store.
Shawty bang my line, you can holler at me later. Shawty bang my line, shawty bang my line, you can holler at me later. Shawty bang my line. You can catch me on the book or DM me at IG. Consider me in.
Look, I don't play with this shit. You don't even know what I gave to this shit. Self-made with this shit. I slay with this shit. Been a lot of roads I done paved with this shit. Look.
Taking flight, change your life in one night. By 2 a.m. if you do it right. Up late like nigga night. Small fish, big appetite. Get an extra 4 if you whip it right. Got good gas and it's light bright. Got big balls and a good pipe. One call it in sight. Hey Rihanna, hey girl, how you doing? I'm into you like Trump's into Putin. I know that might sound a little confusing. I had to say it for my own amusement. What I'm trying to say is, can we go cruising? Top down, blow some good gas, and listen to Blueprint.
Almost drown me, it astounds me like the level of deceit when your people try to play you like somebody in the street. Like even when you praise him and you try to see him eat, not to mention all the shit you did to get him on his feet. Kid of thoughts, 10,000 legs. I know you wish you could, but some can't. I learned from my mistakes and I done felt all the breaks. Learn to cut the grass real fast for the snakes. Learn to give a little bit more than I take. Too many times I score back, break, pump, fake. I got the PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Chime. Hope you got yours, cause I got mine. I'm talking Payoneer, net spend, Venmo, stash. Too many ways for you to run my cash.